Right, hello everyone. So today's the 9th of May, Tuesday. Let's take a look. Now remember yesterday I marked these out. The market came up a little bit, nearly went up. Here it stopped. Well, in fact, a little lower than that, around there. Okay. Mind you, it should go higher. Okay, so we should actually break above this level. Now, with the Astro hours, we're in a bit of a sandwich zone between the weekly and the daily and the opening, as you can see, right? So I marked in today, that's the weekly support. The market's already done it. And these are the daily ones. Okay, so what we ideally would like to do is to not go below the weekly, and at Astro hours we can expect to go up. So I'm going to delete that because this is not a PST indicator level. Up here we've got 73, which is 2,112. As you can see, that is a huge level out there. Then we've got 72, which is 2,055, which is a bit more logical. And 2055 is there, which we marked in before, which is nice because it kind of like takes us to the highs of last week, where if the market wants to sell, that's where they'll want to do it again. Monday, as you know, was a swing day for gold, all right, and it bounced off the weekly support on the PST level right on the line here. All right, so if we do go up, because the market can go either way, look at that. There's a breach up, there's a breach down, so it's tricky, okay? So if we want to go up though, once it starts to break up in that direction, on the pullback into an Astro hour, buying to go back up is not a bad idea, because if that's the case, okay, which I think it should go up, right? The night should end at 10, 11 o'clock at the target. Okay, so what we have to do is determine for ourselves what those targets are, right here. So now this is, as you can see, this is the level for demand, then we've got supply here, and so on. So ideally, we should go up. If it breaks up above the weekly, any pullback into here is good to go long at Astro hours, and then we should go up. Okay, we should go up, and then we could in fact go higher than this as well. Like I said, we've got that 2055. Now there's a big difference, there's a big gap here between that target and that target. So what you're going to do is obviously manage your trade at certain levels, and one of those levels is going to be this level here. All right, so learn to manage that trade as well along the way. All right, and that's how it is. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Okay, with the euro dollar, now remember with the euro dollar, this was the disruption zone. Remember with gold as well, I said yesterday, guys, this is going to be a disruption zone here. Remember I marked it in yesterday. I wrote here disruption zone, and I highlighted this in purple. Okay, so if you look at yesterday's video, you know what I'm talking about. And as you can see, the market going like, within that time period here, sorry, the market went down and then went up suddenly. Okay, this was the disruption zone yesterday. So sudden move down, sudden move up, and then we're in the sideways kind of move, market making a slightly higher high, and then sizzling upwards. Now, if Monday is a swing low for gold, we should be heading up, all right? And that's the kind of thing we want to do. It should go up, so buying at Astro hours here at the lows, see the market came down in order to go up is not a bad idea. If you took financial astrology from me, you would have kept an eye out for 145 today, but that was the opening, so it's no big deal. Okay, 145 is going to be there, so it's not going to be a really big deal here. All right, now what you can do here, because this is the weekly pivot, and the weekly pivot is always tricky. Also, yesterday I said if the market comes back down into an Astro hour, you can go long with gold. Remember why? Because I said we need to come up to fill in some gaps. So same here. If the market breaks above the weekly pivot and then comes back down to the weekly, daily, or the opening at Astro hours, it's good to go long. So with the euro dollar, what's going to happen is yesterday this was the disruption zone. As you can see, I said here also when I was doing the video, the market was up here. All right. And I said, well, okay, you know what? You could sell from here. Why? Because that's where they sold on Friday. So the market comes back to retest the level of Friday sell-off. Comes here. It's an astro hour. Brilliant. And then the market goes down. Does the same thing again. It comes back for a retest. Okay. And then sells off again. And look, this is the disruption zone. Boom. Down here into this zone. All right. And that's fine. If you bought here, you did not make a mistake. All right. If you bought here, that was not a mistake. Why? Because that disruption ended there. So you did not make a mistake if you bought here and then that only went up 15 points. Nothing really exciting, but still doable. Okay. And then as you can see, the market came down all the way into the closing because that's where we're expecting things to pan out. So the market should again also move towards the closing hours today and end up at the target there. So I'm now going to get rid of this so we don't get confused. Okay, let's get rid of not that. Just bear with me. There. All right. So what I'm now going to do is this is where the big fell off happened. So what I want to do is move this across, just mark this a little here. So I'm going to bring this all the way into the closing. That is also an indecision bar there. All right. So if the market goes up a little bit to test these zones, might swipe it to take out the stops. Okay, it's doable. Now remember the swing days for euro dollar. Okay. We also have a nice trend line liquidity here. This zone is okay to buy if you think about it. Okay, this is where the market, as you can see, shifted upwards. That was the last manipulation before this up move started. So it's not a wonder we're in this zone. In fact, in that zone there. Okay, that is pretty much the bar there. All right, if you just take the levels of the bar. So the market buying from these levels to go up is not a bad idea at all. What to look out for if you're going to buy the euro dollar? Well, let's take a look at the daily, right? First of all, guys, the daily 49.27 is going to be 1.0980. So that's the support. If it breaks below that, you don't want to be mucking around with it because it's going to be a PST breakout. 1.0980 is there. And I'm going to do this. All right, so that is it, including the low of that manipulation bar's wick. Okay, which is fine. So this zone is okay for support up to here. As you know from last week's and many a weeks ago, we said that highs are here, we're good to sell. Okay, and that's what the market's been doing. Every time it's up there, selling nicely. Every time it's up there, selling nicely. Now there is going to be a breakdown. This will have to break down. Okay, this will break it down. We'll have to come back into this zone and even further down. All right. When we're going to do that, well, we're going to do that with a surprise, okay, which is going to end tonight. So if the market decides to go up, we should go somewhere where the market should reverse for this one on the swing day. 63 is going to be 10.99. So I'm going to put 11 up there. 1.11, as you can see, is there, right? So the market has the potential to push up there. On the weekly, we're already selling from that level, and that's fine. Okay. On the monthly, we're at the tops here as well, as you can see. So this zone should be, for us, sell zone. If we go up tonight and end up somewhere high tonight, we want to be selling tomorrow. Okay, so keep that in mind. We want to be selling tomorrow and on Thursday. All right, so tomorrow will also have interesting day as well. Tomorrow is also going to be interesting. All right, so we're going to have to, there's going to be good moves in the market, and if we catch the right side of the moves, then we should be in good money. All right, and that's that. So if the market goes up from here, it should go up. If it breaks down on the pull up into an astro hour, then you should sell. If we go up to these levels at an astro hour, it's also worth selling, okay, because we've crashed down below it. So if the market now comes up to retest these levels, okay, the weekly and that level there, okay, we want to be sellers again. All right, so if the market goes up, we want to be selling again. All right, so selling from these levels. If it breaks above that on a pullback into an astro hour, you want to go long then. Okay, and that's how we're going to pan this out. All right, because they swept out the stops nicely from Friday and sent it down. That's a good impulse wave. If we come back up, we want to be selling again here as well. Okay, and if the market breaks down, which I think it should break down sooner or later, we're going to have to see this thing breaking down, then we should wave down into this zone. Okay, and below, if it does break down, your target's going to be HCL1, which is 1.0955, and that's 1.0955 is there. All right, so that should take us at least into that direction. Let's take a look at US 30. Now with the US 30, as you know, from the highs, we're all sellers, as you know. And yesterday the market came into that purple zone, as you can see, and sold off. So that was the astro zone yesterday. So the market just sold down, and you can see this was the disruption zone, and the market just got disrupted. Okay, boom, down into that zone. So let's take a look. Okay, so now what we've got here with the US 30, let's take a look. That's a nice fall from last week, as you can see, and we want to be sellers from here as well into this zone. All right, let's take a look at the daily. Now we're up here on the daily impulse wave, breaking the low, going back up to sell off again. So what we do want to do is definitely use this opportunity to sell. Now look out for where the market's got some openings for us. Okay, what I'm going to do is now mark this into that zone. All right, the market should come back up into this zone. We should end up at least in this zone somewhere. I'm going to get rid of this. So if the market goes up there, we might surprise us as well. And then what? And then this will be the zone. Okay, and your stop loss needs to be above that. So there are two options here. Okay, we're either going to sell off here, all right, at astro hours, and if that happens, you want to be looking out for adjustment there. You're going to have to do this at lunchtime as well, around here. Even here is good too. Okay, so selling from this zone is good, but this gap, you got to keep it in mind. Okay, if you don't, it's going to be a drama. All right, so if you see a sudden move up above here coming into this zone in the astro hours, you can sell from this zone as well. Okay, but this zone is also good. It's good to sell. It's the weekly and the daily pivot. US 30, as you can see, nice pull down after sweeping the stops off the high of Friday, as you can see. Okay, taking out the stops there, pushing it down. This is a good spot to continue to come down. Okay, breaking, as you can see, the support of the weekly and that level there. So the market should push down, as you can see here, and it should come lower. So selling at these levels here, at these astro hours here on the white line, the daily, weekly, this is good zone to be pushing down, and then we should come really down as well. In fact, I'm telling you, we could have a nice surprise move that could follow all the way down. So in the US session as well, let's say the market fell down. In the US session, we got back up, then you can sell off again. All right. In the morning, if it came down, at lunchtime went back up, you can sell down again. All right. So those would be interesting. Also, New York opening, you want to keep an eye out for that 4:15 to 5 o'clock zone here. All right. 4:15 to 5 o'clock. All right. So, and that's your lunchtime there, but this is a morning session. It's good to sell as well. So sell. If it goes back up, sell again is okay. If it keeps coming down into this zone, okay, we'll probably dip down. So let's take a look at the daily here. 35, 32,746. On the weekly, it's even lower, 32,746. Okay, it's way, way, way down there. 32,746. Going to be up here somewhere. All right, so I suggest we take the opportunity to shoot it down if it goes up or around these levels as well, right under the white line here. Okay, it's okay to swing down. Let's take a look at SP 500, NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. Now, once we do the Dow Jones, the other indices are easier because we're kind of like going to be going towards it the same way. Okay, and remember the swing day for the Dow. Also the swing day for SP 500 and NASDAQ. All right, so keep those in mind. So the inner week is going to be hectic on all those 3 days, but there's a reason for that because we've got a Venus situation as well, which is nice to see, and that's going to happen, and that's going to happen tomorrow. All right, so that Venus is going to happen tomorrow. So we're also going to have some opportunities to do some good trading tomorrow as well. So I think today is definitely worthwhile keeping on top of things. And Thursday Asia session also is going to be, I think, Asia's, well, Thursday all day is going to be it's going to be interesting. So let's take a look. This is SP 500, as you can see here. Now, yesterday, remember with the Astro hours here, let's just put these in here. Now, remember, we had 2:45 to 3 o'clock yesterday, and then there was the disruption. The market came down into the disruption mode here. That was between 340 and 550, and that's your 530 there. So that disruption really pretty much happened here at 545 bar is there, as you can see, and now we're up again. Okay, so on the SP 500 today is a swing day. All right, so not a bad idea to swing down. All right, so this zone is pretty good. The market should come down. All right, it should. And where should it come down to? Oh, crazy. That's not good. That's not good. Let's take a look at that. 4,178, which is there. All right, that's not good. The reason this is not good is we've got to break below this now. This is where the goodbye kiss is. 51.69. I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay. 51.69. 4,120. The market has to break below this 4,120. So we're going to have to break below this for us to be swinging further down, which is fine. Okay, what I would do on this one as well, at Astro hours, I'm happy to sell this. I do it with a bit of caution, and you need to exercise caution after 5 p.m. onwards, as the market will have a drive, and when it has that drive, it's just going to go in that direction. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Okay, but at lunchtime also, if we're up here somewhere, up in there, anywhere in the highs, I'm more inclined to sell it off. Okay, and only after New York opens, after my 5 p.m., which is going to be like I guess 10 in New York, right? Then once it picks up direction, that's where we're going to end up closing the night. Like we're going to be going in that direction, right? So be mindful. So selling at astro hours at these levels, not a bad idea. Just slap them in. Like I said, for example, we've got what, 7 o'clock? Got 7 o'clock, 9:45 here. All right. And 8:45 here. All right, so this zone is okay also to be selling, to be pushing down into the market until lunchtime, which I guess will bring you down to here, and then we'll see how things pan out. Okay, if at lunchtime we end up somewhere around here, you might consider buying to push up, and if it does go up, like I said, it should carry on going in that direction once it decides on the direction after 5 p.m. my time UTC plus 3. This is Bitcoin. All right, so with Bitcoin we've got the same kind of thing here, as you can see. The highs I'm looking to sell. I'm not going to be buying Bitcoin at high levels. So today the level is 65, 13.3, 65.91 is, oh sorry, this is NASDAQ. My apologies. I'm thinking what's going on. NASDAQ. Okay, so this is NASDAQ. Now remember the swing day for NASDAQ. Okay, and look out for surprises today. So surprises can mean that we're going to break out somewhere. So let's see, let's mark that in 13.355, 13.355. Now yesterday I also said we could probably push up if we wanted to sell, and the swing day for NASDAQ is, you know when that is. So until that day the market could kind of lift its head up. This is a place where we want to look out for a surprise. Why? Because there's going to be a gap fill in there. So the market pushing up to fill this in is logical, like I said yesterday and yesterday. So that zone is still for us a sell zone, as you can see here. On the weekly, if you wanted to mark it in, the high of that is 13,560, okay, which will bring us into that zone. Okay, so the market can push up. If it does, you can look to sell from the highs. Also, like I said with the SP 500, for example, if the market pushes down into an astro hour here, you might want to look into going long, but after 5 p.m. in New York, because we should pick up some direction then. Okay, between 4:15 and 5 o'clock. If you're in the middle of nowhere, don't trade. Okay, just make sure you're at a decent level to take a trade. Also note the gap here as well. Okay, so this is gap zone. These are going to be levels where the market's going to be looking to do surprise moves. You could do this here. Okay, that's one level. And then what you can do if you want, marking that level if you're trading NASDAQ. Okay, let's do that there. Okay, and the whole beginning of that move is, as you can see, is going to be from here pushing upwards, breaking that off, and that's going to be at this yellow level here, 4,076, which is going to be this here. So as you can see, there are a few levels. This is why you understand we need to be careful. So NASDAQ is also looking pretty tricky, but at least if we go up, okay, if we go up, we know what we want to be doing. Okay, just like with the SP 500. Okay, and that's that. So be careful in this zone. On the daily pivot, you're okay to go long. Let's take a look at this. This is going to be far too down. So the market's either going to come down to go back up into that zone, and that's tradable. Okay, so coming down to go into that zone is tradable. Where to do that? You could do that on the opening and the daily pivot. So if the market comes down, push to go up, be mindful of the wicks here. If you like, you can take it into a smaller time frame and then wait for the market to go up. Once it breaks structure on the pullback, you can go long. Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, there are no surprises. As you can see, I've talked about selling it off. I gave you targets yesterday as well. So if you follow the targets down, this is where we came into, and I said we get into that 27,356, 27,105, and that's fine. On the daily, as you can see, we've still got a bit of room to come down, and that's fine. This, like I said, I've been saying this for like days, we should break below this line. We need to break and to come down into this zone. So if the market goes back up again, you're welcome to sell. 49 is going to be 28,552. So 28,552, I guess somewhere around there. Okay. Well, this is okay. So this is going to be this zone again. So if the market does come back up into this zone, I think selling it is like the way to go. You can just do that from the weekly pivot in that zone as well. So if the market comes up, I think it's still sellable to push further down. If you want to look at those values, as you can see, it's just 56 there. That's where it came down to. Okay, so if it does go up again, we're looking to sell. It should break below here. We should come back down here. All right, so that's what we're expecting. So we could have a few surprise moves today until the end of the day, and also look out for the swing day for Bitcoin. Okay, the swing day for Bitcoin is Tuesday, so market can pretty much go up from these levels as well. Okay, why? Because of support zone. Okay, so you can look to go long in the intraday trading as well, and only when the market gets up you can sell. Okay, and this is the indecision bar. So buying at this zone here is not a bad idea at Astro hours. So in the Astro hours, if the market comes down, okay, into this zone, going up is also good. Okay, you can, if you're into day trading cryptocurrencies, to push up, and that's fine too.